a lot of insulin resistance. That's what we're talking about.
And people may not really understand how it works. If I can briefly, explain, it's actually very simple. So when you eat a meal and the sugar is broken down, and just goes from the stomach into the bloodstream, the blood sugar levels rise. The body senses that, tells the pancreas to put out insulin. So insulin goes out into the bloodstream. One insulin molecule combines with one sugar molecule. They go to the cell, which is what the sugar is going to feed the cell. And the insulin is like the key that unlocks the door to allow the sugar into the cell. And so that's how it functions normally. Diabetes type 2 or insulin resistance is where the cells change the locks. So the cell no longer recognizes the insulin. So the sugar stays in the bloodstream and continues to rise because it's continually being fed. So the body says, okay, the sugar is going up. Pancreas put out more insulin. So the pancreas will put out a ton of insulin like an army to go bust down the door. So what you can see is this time where the sugar makes it inside, but the insulin levels are really high. And that's how the body compensates before it becomes completely permanently diabetic. And that compensation you can watch. So your A1C may be normal or close to normal, close to normal, but you can see the compensation mechanisms behind it. You can see the glucose still a little bit elevated, but that insulin level is off the charts. And even when the A1C is close to normal like that. So that's how you can see that compensation before you actually get true diabetes.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like you talked about in your story, for listeners and viewers, diabetes is reversible. So if you do catch it, there are ways to reverse it. And those ways are not necessarily medication. Remember, your body doesn't lack a medication. Your body needs the right inputs to, regulate your glucose appropriately.
I love that.
Some of those things are, for instance, you talked about blood sugar. Some of those things would be just don't eat carbohydrates. Mm. I mean, seriously, that's one of the biggest fixes. And the second one is we do need blood sugar to stay alive. Absolutely. We do need glucose to stay alive. We would die with a glucose of 0. That is a fact. Well, one of the ways that we can make sure that our glucose is regulated appropriately is burn it. Right. So move, exercise. Yes. That will burn that glucose. Glucose is there for energy in our bodies. Yes. So if we're burning the energy, our glucose isn't necessarily going to be high all the time.